Hello, everyone. This is Rob Golfi with Remax, the Golfi team. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show with host Stephanie Vivier. That's a lot of money. That's a lot. Think about it. People barely have enough money to give first and last month's rent. Now they lose that, and then now they got to find another place, and they got to beg, borrow to move it and get a rental. So there is so much rental scams out there. You got to be very, very careful. If it's too good to be true, don't do it. Make sure you get a driver's license on the person that you're renting the house from. Hey, I need your driver's license, because they're going to ask you for yours. If they don't ask you for yours, then you know something's wrong, because everybody should get a driver's. Like if I'm representing a landlord and we get a tenant, we get their driver's license all the time. We get it. So now if you're a renter and he's not willing to give it to you, and he's not letting you in the house because he says he lost the keys or he's out of country or whatever, stay away from that. If it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. That's it.
That's a good reminder. This one it seems kind of easy and weird. You're peeking in the windows. You definitely want to go in the place, but some of them are pretty advanced. Like you think, oh, I'm smart, I'm not going to be falling for any of these scams, but they're quite sophisticated, some of these scammers, as you outlined in how much money has been scammed from people. Oh, you got to be careful. Sometimes you get these people that move to Florida for 3-4 months out of the year. They got an empty house. Somebody, if they get into your house and they find a way to get a key, because once they're in, they're in. You don't know if anybody's in your house. They can put your house up for rent, for sale, and they will bring people through, get first and last month's rent, and boom, and they're gone. And they'll do first and last month's rent with 5 different people on the same house, and they're gone after that. So you've got to be very, very careful on when you're dealing with rentals and dealing with people. Like, it's just if you don't see their car in the driveway or whatever, if you don't if you got a little bit of a gut feeling that something's wrong, your gut feeling is telling you, you better be cautious. Red flags are coming up. And, like this lady, she was pretty smart. She actually called the agent that had the house for sale and said, hey, listen, is this house for rent? She goes, no. So, and this guy all of a sudden, boom, disappeared. See that? And now he was originally trying to get $100, but if he got the $100 to see if she was gullible to go that way, then he would have got first and last month's rent, and then he would have been gone. And he was trying to do this without even showing himself in person. He was just saying, look in the windows. So this guy was trying to get a scam like that going. But I mean, the police are looking into it. They'll find him, because if you post anything online, they're going to know where your IP address is from. They'll know exactly where your home address, or where you're living, and they'll get you. So it doesn't pay. Yeah, hopefully, because we don't want people like that out there running the streets. Let's go to Fort Erie now. And there's a couple there that bought a brand new home, and apparently they can't even live with it. They're actually going to have to tear it down. Yes. Why is that? Okay, so these people bought this house, and they bought this house, and they're not the original owners. So the original owners bought it, and they had issues with the house. They sold it to these other people. They were only there for probably a year. They sold it. So the second owners, they filed a claim against Terrion, because Terrion's good for 7 years on a house. So they filed a claim against it, and the foundation's no good. They had an engineer. They have to tear down this house. And it's terrible. That's what's happened here. Now, the inspectors that inspect the house at every stage, they should have found problems with this house, and they didn't. So these people are suing the builder, they're suing the town, and they're suing who else are they suing? There's a few other people in there I don't have in front of me, but they're suing people because this shouldn't have happened. And they didn't do a home inspection when they bought the house. You know what? The house is a year old. Why would you do a home inspection? It's brand new. You are thinking, okay, well, the city approved this house. They put the rubber stamp in. They said, hey, they gave the owner occupancy to move in, so it must be good, right? So, but anyway, there's a lot of problems with the house. But here's the other kicker. Now, CMHC insurance is only good up to $300,000, but now they're changing it to $400,000. That is not going to cover this house. Like, I mean, yes, maybe in Fort Erie you might be close to that, but if it's close to $1 million house, how are you going to deal with this? So you not only they have to rebuild this house, tear it down. They got to rip out the foundation and rebuild a new foundation. That is very, very expensive, and it's too costly. And I feel bad for these people. And like CMHC should know that housing prices are up. Like it's $800,000 now for an average house. That should be insured up to $800,000, $900,000. You know how expensive it is with CMHC insurance when you purchase a house. And you got this, or no, Terrion. This is the Terrion. Sorry, Terrion. You know how expensive these houses on Terrion, and you're only covered up to $300,000-$400,000. Like the average house is $800,000. That's ridiculous. The government should get in there and say no. That insurance should be a lot higher. And I feel sorry for this couple. Now, if they don't get the insurance from Terrion, and things don't work out, this house is going to be stigmatized because of the article that was in the paper.
And they would know that they had these foundation issues, so they would have to disclose that anyway, right?
Absolutely. Now they have to disclose it. And that's why we try to Google the house in case there's something wrong with the house. And we go, you go through pages and pages of Google to see if there's any issues on this house. And it's also good for the potential purchaser that is buying a house. Google the house, Google the address, see what comes up. That house could have been in the newspaper having problems. There could have been a murder there. There could have been an infestation of something. Like Google the house when you're buying. And we Google the house because I don't want a house that I got to explain details on the house. Like you tell the homeowner, say, listen, it's all over the internet that your house has these problems. We're gonna have to disclose it, because if you get an offer and we accept it and people buy it and find out about this, you're going to be sued. I'm going to be sued myself, and it's not a good situation. So, Terrion, I mean, it's sometimes you have to go through loops. The reason why this is in the paper, the headline was, Fort Erie couple bought a house only to discover they needed to demolish it and build it again. Why Terrion coverage isn't always enough. They did that because they're putting pressure on Terrion. Terrion is going to go, holy smokes, we're looking bad here. They went public on this because they're fed up. They got a house and they need to get it fixed. They need a new house there. And these people put their heart and soul in this house, and they got all their money in this house. This could bankrupt them and could set them back 10, 15 years in their life just because of the situation with maybe the city approved things that they shouldn't have. They weren't keeping a close eye on it. So I guarantee it, city of Fort Erie right now, they probably told their inspectors, you better double check everything now, because we're looking bad in the city of Fort Erie, that we approved this house for people to move in, and it's not, and it's.
Yeah, and time for Terrion to up the numbers of what they're covering. They're living in a world we all wish we were living in, where $300,000 would get us a house, but just not the case anymore, unfortunately.
No kidding. It's terrible.
All right, you're listening to the Golfi Real Estate Show, having a great time here with Rob Golfi from the Golfi Real Estate RE/MAX team, the #1 RE/MAX team in Canada. Give him a call at 905-641-0308, robgolfi.com. That's where you can find him online. Rob, sticking around. We got more with him next here on News Talk 610 CKTV. Welcome to the Golfi Real Estate Show. I'm Steph Vivier. Rob Golfi with us today with RE/MAX, the Golfi team. And Rob, we've talked about how trite and tricky this real estate market is because of the housing shortage. We have a lack of housing, and that makes the houses we do have to be very, very valuable. So a different way to perhaps address that housing shortage is being proposed.
So in the 1940s and 50s, Canada used housing catalogs to combat post-war housing crisis, okay? So people, they're offering affordable, mass-producible home designs now. But do you remember the catalogs? You can get, they had all the designs. It's probably Sears had them way back. So now the federal government plans to revive the idea, but with a modern twist. These updated catalogs will focus on missing middle housing, like duplexes, fourplexes, and accessory dwelling units, and to increase density in existing neighborhoods without expanding into farmland. Now, this sounds like a great idea. Back then, things were simpler. But the way municipalities operate, even if they have these plans, it's not going to work out. You have to jump through hoops to even get an approval done. So basically, designs will reflect regional architectural styles, low carbon construction, and energy efficient materials like prefabricated components. So, I don't know if you ever saw those type of catalogs where you can pick up a design, and usually there were wartime homes. They didn't have any basements. They were built on either slab or on blocks and stuff like that, and they were able to put up houses pretty quick because after the war there was a boom of people. People were coming in, and immigrants were coming in, and people were coming back from the war. They wanted a place to, things were good. Everything was all good. And people were buying plans and they say, hey, this fits on a lot that's 40 or 50 by 100, and people would build their houses, and they called them strawberry homes. Basically, they're square boxes, and they put a roof, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms in there, depending how small. They weren't very big houses, which is a great idea. But my thing about this, it's still too expensive. You can't even build a house. Like, it's just like what are they going to do? Okay, so the government wants to put a catalog out so you can pick a plan. But you know how, first of all, it's expensive to build a house now. The land is expensive. It's just too expensive. And then municipalities are making it difficult to even pass anything. Like, even if they have the plans done by architects, like they're pre-done, it's tough to get things approved now with different municipalities. So I don't know, what Trudeau's trying to do. I think he's trying to show that, they're trying to figure something out. And anyway, I don't think it's going to work. I think it's just going to be just something that's going to cost a lot of money for the taxpayers, coming out with these catalogs that, and nobody's going to buy them because everybody wants their own plans and stuff like that. And basically, we need a land to build these little subdivisions and have somebody different, not these builders. They're profiting huge money on building houses. But not only that, the cost of building, all these taxes that are included when a builder builds, it's just too expensive. It's going to be difficult to. This thing here is just the propaganda, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's just going to be something that they're going to talk about down the road, saying what a waste of money that was.
Yeah, it feels like an idea of a very bygone era that we just don't have anymore.
Yeah, they're saying that, okay, the one thing that they're saying that this could do, it says it could revive, these catalogs significantly activate the current housing crisis. Well, no. Community reaction. How do we address concerns about these development changes? Again, sustainability. Are prefabricated low-carbon homes the future of sustainability housing, or do they have limitations compared to traditional builds? I'll tell you, this, I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's going to work. The only way people are going to be able to afford houses is they have to drop a lot of taxes to build these houses, and but then like right now, it's just a big constipation that's happening. The builders aren't building that much because people aren't buying new homes because they're too expensive. And then it's going to get to a point where they have to start building, and then the housing price is going to go up real fast because now interest rates will be dropping, and the builders are going to be building 100 homes or condos or whatever, and they're going to sell fast, and they're going to be in competition.
It's an interesting conversation with you, Rob. Thank you so much for joining us today. And if you want to find out more about Rob and his team, it's robgolfi.com. Give them a call as well, 905-641-0308. And just like Santa, 365 days, no days off for this guy, right?
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
This has been the Golfi Real Estate Show, and I'm Steph Vivier. This is News Talk 610 CKT.